It's recorded. Oh, my ear itches so bad all of a sudden.
That's not good.
Okay. Here we go, everybody. Thank you for being here. Let us now embark into a future only we know. Oh, shoot. Hold on. It didn't load right. This will take just a second, everybody. Technical issues and whatnot.
And whatnot.
What? Not. All right, I got it. All right, here we go. It starts in 3, 2, 1. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the SKIM Show. I'm Scott.
And I'm Kim.
And we're back doing SKIM one day at a time. What does that mean? I don't know.
Well, we technically do that one day at a time.
One day at a time. What a fine sitcom that was. Hey, we're back, and here's the deal. It's Sunday. It's like
Sunday.
11 a.m. Yeah, it's weird, right?
Feels weird. Usually it's Thursday night, so it's totally weird in the morning. But that's okay.
We're already 13 episodes in, and we're already making a schedule change. We think we're gonna. Oh, this is weird. Hold on, everyone, forgive me. I'm gonna tweak this. Do you hear that? Isn't that
yes,
weird?
I do.
Test. It's just not equal.
In stereo.
How about now? No, it's still a little bit weird. Let's take that one. No, how about this one? This is fun to learn as we go.
I don't know if this is much fun for everybody else.
Probably not. This freaking thing. I need a new. There we go. I need a new mixer. Anyway,
okay.
Welcome back. What are we doing? We're doing a show, and it's Thursday. Or sorry, it's Sundays now.
It's Sunday.
Sundays at 11.
Sunday morning.
Yeah. So if you're like, when should I park my butt in front of my headphones to listen and watch you guys do your thing live?
Now's the time.
Now's the time. It's Sundays. That's for the foreseeable future.
Sunday.
I mean, it's entirely possible it could change again, but I don't think so. This will probably be it for a while.
This works well.
Yeah, I like it.
And then we're not rushing off to family dinner, which usually I've made, so it's like the last, okay, it's time to make the salad real quick.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be here.
Nice, slow Sunday morning. Can chill out a little bit. Spend some time with you fine folks. Folks. That's how you'd say it, right? You'd say folks. I think that's how you'd say it. But we're glad to be here, and we're grateful to be back. Now, I feel like I'm probably sandbagging here, putting a little something off, because I kind of am. Earlier in the week on TMS, I let something, I made something public that I was planning on telling you, but not telling you until we had another one of these shows. Yeah. And so I know this is making you feel like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, what the crap? Fine. But it's way dumber than you think. So, confession time, everybody. Here's
There's
what
a confession?
happened. Yep. I'm going to use this as an example.
Okay.
You see what I have in my hand here?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Chat room, see this toothpick?
Kind of see where this is going already.
Now, would you confirm or deny that during our relatively long and successful marriage, I have frequently I always like having a toothpick, right?
Yes.
And if it's not my mouth, it's like behind my ear.
Yes.
Or I'll leave them I'll accidentally forget and drop it on the carpet. And then someone will stab their foot into it.
Like me. I've done that multiple times.
Like, imagine walking through the carpet and just going, yoink, right into this
just right
toothpick.
between your toes. Like, it's, ugh.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, okay.
It's worse than Lego on the floor, I think.
Please tell, because a few times now you have not just choked on it, but, like, gotten your mouth stuck open with it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing, is I used to flick it around on my tongue. Yeah.
It's, like, stuck in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the eyeballs in that movie. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, yeah, I've gotten it stuck in my mouth before and kind of panicked before. Like, toothpicks and I have had a long...
There's a lot of sound going on.
It's a long, storied history we have with this little piece of wood.
So what happened on Monday?
Well, it wasn't Monday, but that was just the day I told everybody.
Oh, okay.
It happened the last time you made jambalaya. Okay?
Because Scott has to pick a lot of things out of his teeth with jambalaya.
Yes.
That's usually where this starts, people.
Now, here's the problem. I had a toothpick, not in my mouth, up behind my ear, like I do. Okay?
Like a lot of people keep pencils if they're carpenters.
Yeah. I put it right here. It's like I use it, and then I'm like, well, I'm nowhere near a garbage can, so I'm just going to keep it right here behind my ear.
Only funny because he's always near a garbage can. They're all over the house.
There's one right here. And I'm not using it. Anyway, so I put this thing behind my ear whenever I did it. I don't remember when I did it. And then while you had this fresh pot of authentic Southern jambalaya simmering on the stove. I thought, ooh, I'm gonna go get me some of that. So I went over there and I'm stirring it around, and it was one of your shrimp ones, and the shrimp of this time was amazing.
They were really, really big ones.
Usually we don't know what we're going to get here because we're not a coastal city.
Yeah.
So
you wait until like this time of year, you get really good shrimp season and really big colossal shrimp, they call them.
Yeah, big, monstrous, like fleshy.
Not rubbery at all. They were fantastic shrimp.
They almost have like, they got like this weird, not scarring, but it reminds me of like somebody who can't.
The striping on them?
No, like on the edges, like down where you start the peel of the outside, they just get all fluffy down there.
Yeah, they start to curl when you boil them up.
They're so good. Why. Anyway, so that's cooking, and I lean in there. I'm like, let's have some of this. Now, sorry, there's a little more backstory on this. This is also a toothpick that I used. I had it in my mouth for a while, picking around my teeth, dorking around, and then you know how I get when I got a little, ear itch.
Oh,
I'll go in there and kind of, like pick around in there, and it's something about it. And I know it's dangerous and stupid and dumb, and I never should do it, but I've done it my whole life and whatever. So anyway, now the full lifespan and history of that piece of wood. I can't speak to its manufacturing. I don't know who made it. I can't say that the guy who put it in the box or ran the machinery didn't accidentally cough on it or something too. But all I can talk about is when it was in my possession, what happened to the toothpick. Well, leaning over the big pot, toothpick goes bloop.
Oh my gosh.
It fell out of my ear or off my ear. And
into the jambalaya?
Into the jambalaya.
Oh, Scott.
Point first, submerged itself.
Oh, no.
And I went, ah!
I would have been, get out of my kitchen.
I know, you weren't there, so you weren't in there.
Oh, my gosh, honey.
So I went in there and fished it out with one of the ladles, one of those big rubber spoons you have, the green one. And I dug it down in there and found it, pulled it out, threw it in the trash, and then didn't say anything to anyone.
And we all ate all of that.
Right, but see, it's a big boily pot of goodness. It's like
with a little bit of earwax now.
I mean, if you think about it, all right, nobody wants to eat a cake. Nobody wants to eat a cake with cat poo in it, right? Right? Even
Next
a little.
Next time I make you a cake, I'm going to dump the entire contents of the vacuum cleaner in it and then just let you cut it open.
But I mean, like, even if it was a tiny bit of cat poo, nobody would be happy about that.
No, and I'm not happy about this.
Right. But my point is that if you start to broaden it out, there's cat poo and everything. Hear me out.
Oh my gosh, there is not.
There is. Hear me out. So you live in a world right now where there's cat poo in it. And since we're all just a bunch of atoms swirling around together, working as one to create material and surfaces and organic this and whatever.
Okay, let's just stop there and say that you dropped a dirty toothpick into a huge, by the way, batch of jambalaya because I made a double batch because
you did.
Taylor and Dylan were coming over and I wanted them to take some home with them. And oh my gosh, you're not allowed in the kitchen anymore.
It's just wood.
You're not allowed in the kitchen when I'm cooking anymore. That's so gross. Right. I will let you know next time I do anything to your food after you've eaten it. How about that?
Do you remember the time you canned, what was it you were canning?
Oh, I was making salsa.
Yeah, and I threw a peanut in the air.
Well, you threw it in the air to catch it with your mouth.
Yeah,
like
I missed.
Eating peanuts in the kitchen.
Yeah, and then the peanut disappeared, and the only thing left were a bunch of open cans of salsa, and we're like, well, I guess one of the cans got a freaking peanut in it.
You got a little bit of peanut salsa.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. We never found it. It wasn't like we ate salsa later, and because if they were open, that means they haven't been processed yet.
Yeah.
So there's like peanut butter now in the salsa because you still have to process it and cook it for an hour in boiling water.
It might still be in the thing in there.
I think we've
storage.
eaten all the salsa. I haven't made any in a while.
Okay, so it's been a while.
It's been a couple of years.
All right. Well, peanut and the salsa, wood in the thing.
Peanut and the salsa. That's a good band name. Also,
make sure you don't run it together or split the letters wrong because it could say penis alsa. You don't want that.
Penis salsa?
Penis alsa. So are you? Okay. Do you want to divorce me now? Do you want to what do you want to do? Burn the house down?
Just stay out of the kitchen.
Okay, all right.
Just stay out of the kitchen.
I love it though. I love going in there and sneaking
it's
the
true.
fresh.
He'll take usually with a cleaner toothpick than that one. Mm-hmm. He'll go in and get a spoon of it and then just poke it like the sausage and eat all of that stuff out of there.
Yeah, with a toothpick.
Well, now I don't know if it's a clean or dirty one.
Well, if it had been just behind my ear and only, sort of in my mouth for a little bit, would it have been as big a deal if it hadn't have been in my ear also?
I still wouldn't be okay with that. Gross. Can't believe you did that. And then didn't tell anyone.
Well, I told the TMS audience, now I'm telling you.
Johnson confessional in here.
I could have told Carter. She would have laughed. She would have thought that was funny. But.
Well, yeah, because she doesn't eat the same pot of jambalaya as the rest of us.
That's true. She has a vegetarian
I always make
version.
her a separate pot.
Yeah, and it's a little tiny version of it, and I don't go in there because that's no fun.
That's only got shrimp in it.
No, nobody wants that. So, all right, no more wooden objects in the jambalaya.
No more toothpicks. I'm not even going to buy them. How about that?
Oh, no, I need them, though. I require them.
You have to find the way to the garbage can, then.
They're very useful. Where'd that one go I just had? Oh, it's still behind my ear. All right.
Oh, good.
Enough of that. Hey, boy, guess what we got all week?
What?
A bunch of voicemails.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's surprising how many we got. We'll start with this one. The title of it is Things About Kim.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you won't I don't know.
Maybe I get to answer some questions about me. Yes, I'm anal about my jambalaya, apparently.
I don't actually remember what this is, but let's play it and see together. Here we go.
Hi, this is Keaton. Just wanted to call in and say maybe the way to humanize Kim a little bit is to tell us something that she's bad at. Maybe in the way that Scott is bad at reading or feeding himself. What is Kim bad at? And also, Scott, have you told Kim yet about your new website, beantweaker.net? Love the show. Thanks.
Oh, no. There's more things I don't know.
No, on the show.
The Secret Life of Scott.
We had another TMS thing where the term bean tweaker came up, and it sounded dirty, and then people ran with it. Oh, my gosh.
So you have a .com now?
No, I didn't do it. I mean, like I would ever do that. But here, okay, so I understand what he's saying. And by the way, I read just fine. I'm reading a book. I read books.
No, it's the names. I think it's the pronunciation of names most of the time.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, gosh, we're playing again.
Hi, Keaton.
Hi, Keaton. Jeez Louises.
First of all, I appreciate you asking that. Yeah. I think it does humanize people when you tell them their faults. Scott, what are my faults?
She doesn't play video games.
That's a fault.
Well, I don't mean that you're not playing them at all as a fault. I mean that if you play a competitive video game with me,
I get very
vicious.
I swear
and competitive, swearing,
and I get really mad when I'm not winning.
Yeah, and I'm talking simple stuff like head-to-head Tetris or like freaking what was that game that we Bubble Bobble back in the day, or Bust a Move it was called.
Bust a Move. I remember playing that and getting so mad.
I've never seen you so angry. I couldn't deal with it. I had to give it up. It was like, that's it. We can't do this ever again, or our marriage is in trouble. We can't play this anymore.
Hopefully, Keaton, that humanizes me a little bit more. What else am I bad? I like off the top of your head, I can't. I mean, people don't like to admit what they're bad at, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you don't do anything that's like.
I'm bad at like, not housework, but like putting things off.
Yeah. I mean, but everyone does that.
I know.
That's where I'm the worst.
Like, when's the last time I vacuumed our bedroom? It's been like over a week.
Yeah, but part of the reason you can't vacuum is because all my shite is on the side of my floor over there. Like, I'm just as bad. I don't think I can think of too. This sounds weird, but I really don't have that many for
things that drive you crazy about me.
No, or things that you're bad at, particularly. I can't think of anything like that. Like, you're not good at. I know.
What? Tell me what I'm bad at.
The thing is that you have an equal but opposite thing you're good at in relation to this, so it's kind of like not fair. It almost neutralizes itself. Okay. But you remember every number you need to remember ever.
Yeah, I don't know why.
She has a thing with numbers.
I memorized my driver's license number 25 years ago, and I still remember it.
She still knows it. She knows all the phone numbers we ever had. She knows all the kids' numbers. She knows all of the kids' social security numbers. She knows my social security number.
And mine.
You don't know the kids?
Okay. I haven't memorized that. I haven't needed to.
I forget mine all the time. She has mine memorized. You remember if somebody said yesterday, "Hey, here's a number," and then you can just pull it out.
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know
you
why.
know our bank numbers. You know our credit card numbers. Like,
though.
if you ever can't steal a credit card from us, just steal Kim and then torture her to tell you the number.
Oh, thanks. Let's put that out there.
Because she knows the number. She knows the code on the back. She knows the year it expires.
And torture Kim. Nice.
Yeah. So she has this thing with numbers, but you are terrible with. And again, it's not important. Like, being good at numbers actually helpful in life?
Not unless I'm working in a bank.
Yeah, but you can't remember actors' names. You
That's
don't remember
true.
movies long after you see them. Like, you'll see a movie and go, I don't remember what happened in that.
Or, no, I never saw it. And then I start watching and go, this looks familiar.
Yeah, like maybe I've seen this.
Bad.
Yeah. Whereas I am like the opposite with that. I remember all that stuff right down to the little details. I think the healthier of the two memory things is yours, not mine. Who cares if I remember that, Glenn Close was in some weird science fiction movie that no one saw? Like, who cares?
That's part of your work, so it works out perfectly that way.
Sure. I guess it helps me now. But,
it helps you now.
But I think your number thing would help me more. Because I don't remember numbers for anything. You know what I don't know? Your phone number. Do you know how I call you? It's in my phone permanently there.
That's probably not good.
It's not good.
If you ever lost your phone and had to call me from wherever you were, which usually you're with me, but that would be rough.
And I don't have...
you don't have any phone numbers memorized. We don't have a home phone.
I barely have mine memorized. I know mine.
But we don't even have a home phone to call.
No, we don't do the landline anymore. It's all
that would be kind of rough.
Yeah. I don't know my kids' numbers.
Can you call my wife? What's her number? I don't know. Yeah,
this is bad. Now the more I think about it.
All right,
should be better with the numbers.
Next voicemail after I figured out what I'm bad at.
All right. That's all I can think of.
Keaton, though.
Seriously, she's not bad at other stuff. Sometimes she gets frustrated with computer things and then I come and bail her out. But other than that,
I do get bad about making. The reason I don't bake much is because I don't like to measure things out.
Oh, you don't?
Not as much as I like to just smell seasonings and throw them together. So cooking I love to do because I don't have to have a recipe.
Yeah, and you're very rando and to taste and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Just play with it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that's. But I see again, that's a strength. That's not a bad thing.
But then when it comes to baking, you can't do that.
We've failed to humanize you, honey. You continue to be
failed to dehumanize me. Wow, I don't feel bad about that at all.
Lordess of all you survey.
Whatever.
All right, here's one about time. This is a good one.
Hello, Scott and Kim. It's Tanuki Monster from the chat room, or as Scott sometimes calls me, Tanakh Monster. Which I think is fantastic. I have a question for both of you, and it's in regards to time. So I'm in my mid-30s right now, and I've really started to notice that time feels like it's moving faster. Birthdays and holidays are flying by at a pace that seems so quick that it's really almost scary. I think this happens to everybody to some degree, but I'm curious to know, A, to what degree has this been true in your own lives, and B, how have you handled it? Love the show. Congrats on the new grandbaby, and I look forward to hearing from you.
All right.
Aw, thank you.
That was sweet. Yeah, I can answer this from my perspective, and then I'd love to hear what you say about this, because I think I'm terrible at handling it. And it's absolutely true. There is a quality to time that has changed for me, and the one thing I've noticed is since probably my mid-20s, I stopped ever being bored again. And if you look at recent studies and some of the stuff my sister's been digging into, it's actually kind of bad that we can't find. Boredom is good for us once in a while, because boredom is a way for our brains to sort of reset, to think about other things, to kind of let their imaginations roll a little bit. In my case, I've not been bored since like the late 90s. And
I think the only time you have ever seemed even bored is on vacation, because you're not in front of work.
And even then, it's more of an anxious, like I should be getting something done, or should be doing something done, and then it takes like a day, and then I kind of get into the groove of the vacation.
Kind of settle in, but usually our vacations are work related or very short.
Yeah, often very short. Kim's very good though of making sure that there's an extra day tacked on.
Yeah, I don't like to go anywhere,
yeah,
even if it's just a relaxing weekend, unless it's 2 nights, because you don't ever really settle into it until the next day.
It takes me a day to settle in, which is so stupid. I don't know why I do that, but anyway, so I absolutely agree that the perception is there, and the reason it's there, you talk to some 18-year-old kid like Nick, time doesn't seem like it's going very fast because he's only had 18 years in it. When you put another 18 on there, it effectively doubles his perception of what time is. So for him, like 2 years seems like an eternity. For me, 2 years is nothing, and I feel like I don't have enough time.
There's still not enough time to get anything done in those 2 years.
Right. You can make a plan for 2 years, but you're like, it's already here. I don't know what that is, but I think that just happens to people as they get older. And, Kim and I are middle-aged, and we're not, we don't have the luxury of only being here for a little while. It's like somebody emailed me yesterday, said, I've been listening to you since I was 14 years old, and now I'm 30. And I'm like, what?
Been listening to you more than he wasn't listening to
double his life, more than double his life. But that's because his life has only doubled once in 15 years.
Like we've had this conversation a few times, though, where you are like, I just don't have enough hours in the day. And I'm the one that's like, everyone has 24 hours. Everyone has the same amount of time. Mm-hmm. But it's what you try to get done in that time that for some reason stresses you out. And for me, I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to run with it. And I run out of time. Yeah. I feel like you run out of time by the end of the day. Like I didn't get all the things done that I wanted to. I have a list.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm like, you know what? It's all right.
You're not as stressed about time as I am.
No.
Yeah. I admit it. Time stresses me out because I can't control it. And I feel like there's never enough time. And it's just.
Sometimes it feels a little out of control, yeah.
It's just a perception. I need to look at time differently and just not care as much. Like who cares? It's freaking time. So what? It passes.
Age is just a number, and that's really hard for Scott to appreciate.
Yeah, I don't like anything. I don't like time passing. And what I really don't like, this is what I really don't like, is some punk-ass little twerp who goes, hey, you're old. And I just want to grab him and go, all right, dude.
Call me in 10 years.
What time is it on your watch? Oh, it's 4 o'clock? Interesting. Guess what? It's also 4 o'clock on my watch. Guess what? It's the same time. You just don't know it yet. You're aging the same rate as me, so.
But at 18, you felt the same way about old guys.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But
you did.
I don't know. Maybe I don't feel like I cared about them. Like they just let them live and do their thing. I don't think I said to anybody stuff like that. Like,
I don't think your voice was the same as it is now.
What do you mean?
I think that kids will say things out there that they wouldn't say to your face.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you didn't have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I guess so.
You weren't going to write him a letter and send it in the mail. Man, you're old.
Yeah, but
what do you think about that? And have to wait for that letter to come back.
No, that's true. People can get on a Twitch stream and there's some girl streaming Fortnite and they can go, "You're ugly and you're fat," or they can say all these horrible things.
Yep. They would never.
They would never do otherwise.
Because they know they get cat scratch across their face from that girl who says, "Shut the hell up."
Yeah. Makes me want to put a small cherry bomb in their bums. All right.
And go, now who's getting old, buddy?
Yeah, now who's old? Now who has to go in and have reconstructive colon surgery? All right. Let's do another voicemail. How about this one? This is for you, okay?
Okay.
So here you go.
Been listening since episode 1. One of those creepy blind people listening to you guys. I have a story about that if you want to know how my wife and I met.
By the way, we have a lot of blind listeners, weirdly. I don't know, maybe not weirdly, but a lot of listeners who are blind. Anyway.
Interesting.
We'll let them continue.
We meet one of these days. But I wanted to ask Kim specifically, what is it like being married to a content creator like Scott? And what are some of the challenges specifically related to his job you guys face together? And my last part of this question, I guess, is how are some of the ways you guys face those challenges? Appreciate it and keep up the amazing work.
All right.
Cool.
What do you think?
I find it very interesting to be married to Scott as a content creator because for the first half of our marriage, he wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you were to a degree, but not in the same way you are now.
Right.
It's interesting because there's always something going on. I think if I was married to an investment banker, first of all,
boring.
A lot more money, but it's boring.
Boring.
Right?
Oh, yeah, you'd have all the money in the world, but it'd be boring.
But it's pretty, I mean, there are people out there that do that, and they're fine, and whatever.
Boring.
But I think it's interesting because every single day, multiple times a day, it's, hey, look what I did. This is an email I got. This is a piece of art that I created. What do you think? There's always something going on. I do like that.
Yeah.
I'm more of a busy personality. I think there's a lot of people who really look at us and go, how can you stand to have him home all day? Because I've had friends specifically tell me, my husband decided to set up an office at home, not even working for himself, but like working from home. And she was telling me how he kept coming up and go, what are you doing? What are you reading? What are we going to have for lunch today? What are you making?
Yeah.
And she was like, get an office. I can't have you here. She's like, this is, all the kids were in school. And she's like, this is my space, my time. I want to be able to do whatever I want and not have him go, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And
hasn't really been a problem.
And it hasn't been a problem for us. No. That's been kind of fun because he's here, and I do appreciate that. I think it's fun.
Yeah, and you're usually the one. out running stuff to the bank or doing like a lot of that part of the business.
And I like
Kim
that.
handles.
I like to do that.
So yeah, we for whatever reason we found the right medium. It all works out good, and how long were we? When did I really start doing something in this vein? Like no, just vein? For fun. Like
I think you've kind of always done something in this vein, in the sense of people have hired you to do artwork. Well, here and there, small. Yeah. It's very small amounts,
right? But the internet in the late '90s is where things started getting like you could see where things were headed, and that people like me would have a forum for this, and so we were probably married 7 years before that started to be a thing, and then and then it just slowly, weirdly evolved and got more and more likely that this was something I could pull off and do.
The challenges to that and were probably trying to go from a full-time job with insurance and things and whenever you said, I think I want to do this full-time, and in my head, I think you were like, this is so cool. I'm going to be able to create everything I do, and I'm going to have my hands in it. It won't be someone else's project and all that. And my head went,
oh no,
mortgage insurance. How old are the kids get in college? Like, what are we? What?
Yeah.
Okay. And all I said was, okay, we'll make this work.
Yeah, you were super supportive, but I knew what you were going through internally.
And internally, I literally the bomb went off. Like everything. I thought of all the things. Yeah. And it was a little overwhelming. It was overwhelming, extremely scary in my own head. But the way it worked out was slowly moving from working more, working part-time, and then working fully for yourself. That took quite a few years, and we were able to...
Yeah, we weaned it.
We weaned it, but we also had to really tighten our belts a little bit and go, okay, if we want to make this what we want to do with it, like if we want to turn this into a full-time thing... we are going to have to change everything while having your kids grow up. That was interesting.
Yeah, it was. Everything she says is absolutely correct. And I remember where this was that I said this. We were at the pool
in Lehigh at the rec center,
and the kids are. You got to understand, the kids are little, and Kim and I from the very beginning always tried. Really, we wanted very much for Kim to be able to be with the kids to raise them. This is no slight to anybody who uses daycare or anybody who's got two working parents. You guys that's great. We've just felt like it was really important for us that Kim was there when they were little, that it would really matter for us as a family and the kind of family that we were. And so keep in mind, this is me bringing this up at a time when the kids were still pretty little.
I think Nick was in a floaty thing in the pool.
Yeah.
He was really little.
Totally was. If this was like 2008, he would have... No, wait. When did I tell you this? 2006?
Gosh, it was way before all that
probably
started.
2005 or 2006.
Yeah.
And
he was probably 5.
He was a little tiny dude. And anyway, we... telling her this at a pool, I remember in retrospect going, I probably could have...
We're like trying to play with the kids, and I was just like, okay, all right, we can do this.
Yeah.
Let me think about this for a couple of years.
Yeah, we couldn't do it overnight by any stretch, but
oh my gosh.
But we figured out a way to do it, and that's kind of everything for us. We just do it. We figure it out. It's not like we have some master
plan. It took a lot of time
to
make it work. So that was probably our biggest challenge, was trying to figure out how to have Scott be a full-time content creator.
Graham Cracker in the chat asks, how did the part-time transition work? It worked okay, except for the fact that my final time with these chuckleheads, I did an 18...
You're talking about work, not us.
Yeah, I did an 18-month contract with them, and they didn't pay me.
Yeah.
So about $80,000 worth of pay I never got.
It's still floating out there.
Oh, it still stings. It still stings.
Okay, next voicemail. I don't want to talk about that.
These people were supposed to be our friends, damn it, and they screwed us.
Yeah, and that was hard because at the time Scott was doing just enough content creation to make ends meet.
Yeah.
We paid our bills. We were able to do that, but it was a interesting 18 months.
Yeah, and it's somebody who was supposed to be a friend, and I'd known for 20 years or something, and it's just a bad scene, man.
Yeah.
And
now we've known them for 20 years. But.
People are always like, why don't you go,
go after him?
Yeah, like soon. I'm like, I'm not litigious. I can't do that.
No, and it's not, I don't know if he has it anyway.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't. And his poor wife and kids, anyway.
It's okay. I feel bad for him.
I kind of feel bad. But
it also made us really jump out there
Oh, yeah, no, it was a huge motivator because I was like, that's it, freaking F that.
And once you weren't having paychecks come in, it was like, okay, well, we're going to have to do more.
Yeah.
We have to, even though you were still working, you were working probably 5 or 6 hours a day doing that stuff, but that was enough time, once again, with the time. Yeah. We had enough time to get everything else done.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I did some cool work there, too.
We cooked a lot at home. We didn't eat out. We did a lot of just, okay, we're going to make this work. And if we're going to really make this work, we're going to have to...
$80,000. I'll never see it again.
Scott has that number in his head.
$80,000.
It sucks.
We could use that right now.
Well, that'd be fantastic. But
you guys want the best nerdtacular ever? Let's get going. All right, here's a quick recipe idea. Ready for this? Here you go.
Hi, Scott and Kim. This is Jeremiah. I'm from Grants Pass, Oregon. And I have a recipe that even Scott can do when Kim is away. And it's super simple, 0 effort, and delicious results. And it is this. You take 3 chicken breasts, 1 packet of chicken taco seasoning, and 1 can of salsa. That's it. You stick it in the crock pot, put it in there on low for 6 to 8 hours, do it in the morning, and at the end, you have pulled Mexican chicken. It is freaking delicious. Oh, by the way, congratulations. Thanks, bye.
That is a great recipe. That's a super simple one Scott could do. I'm still not sure Scott would, but I like that he said in the beginning, even Scott could do.
Hold on, I got a question, though. I don't even know how to, what do you do with the crock pot to set it up and make it work?
You just plug it in.
You plug it in, and then what temperature do you set it on?
It's got high or low. That's all it has.
What would you do it on? This high for this?
You could do either one, really. I mean,
so
it's going to
low would faster. Low would just be one of those all-day deals.
All right, so a crock pot always gets up to 250 degrees.
Okay.
On low, it takes longer to get to 250. Yeah. On high, it goes faster. Okay. That's all it does, though, is get to 250 degrees.
So it depends. If you have a recipe it would prefer a slower build, then that's what you should do.
Yes, your chicken will be better if it's slow cooked.
Okay.
It'll be more tender. So he's right. Put it on low for 6 to 8 hours, all day long of work. Fantastic recipe.
You know what? Chat room just made a good point.
What's that?
I was talking earlier, I don't remember numbers very well. I remember $80,000.
Yes, you do.
80,8000. Never forget. Never going to forget it. Look, if you told me Friday night you're in charge of dinner, I'd try this. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, but I will be honest with you, Scott's not going to go to the grocery store and buy chicken.
I would. I could do all these things.
Chicken taco seasoning.
I could do all of this. It's just a matter of you don't want to eat it. It's like how you don't like when I drive. It's the same thing.
I don't think that's true at all. If you made that, I would eat that. Are you kidding me?
You would eat food I make even though you know about the toothpick gate of 2018, 2019?
I might have to supervise. But other than that, and you couldn't mess with it until it was done because it's raw chicken. So I don't see you getting in there going, ooh, let's try this piece of salsa. JC Calhoun asks, what does Scott actually do? Smiley face. He does the dishes. Okay. I'm good at those. He does everything that's content creation, and then he does the dishes.
And then I do the dishes.
At that. That is above and beyond.
Right. This is all a terrible idea. They want a challenge for next week with food. You guys don't want
a challenge?
You don't want my food. You really don't. I mean, I make weird eggs sometimes. That's fun.
I do like that. I get that on Mother's Day.
Yeah, I like weird eggs.
And it's like, sometimes it's on a piece of avocado toast and the eggs on top. It's really good.
It sounds all right. Yeah, we could have done that today. I thought we were going to do that today. Didn't we do that? We were going to do that this morning.
We were going to do that this morning.
Didn't happen. It was oatmeal.
Instead, I just made oatmeal.
It's fine. It was good. Blueberries in there and whatnot. It was great. I had a nice warm chai. Chai.
Yeah, it was good.
I like my little breakfast tea chai.
But I did make some dinner for tonight.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that in a second. Yeah. Okay, one more call, and then we're going to get right into what your foodie thing this week is. So here is a community question.
Hey, Scott and Kim. I was curious how having such a large community around Scott's work has affected your lives and your family. In a good way, in a weird ways. What's it been like? Before that and after that, what's that been like? I'll tell you from my side, it's been interesting because I started listening to Scott stuff when I was 16 or 17 through World of Warcraft, the instance, and I'm almost 31 now, so it's almost half my life. And, over the years, you can't help it, right? Like, through the Instance, TMS, Scott constantly mentions his family and you guys seem like a great bunch. And I'm just curious, how has having this large network of people that kind of know about your existence and you probably meet them at meetups, what's that been like? Thanks so much, guys. I love the show.
All right.
Fantastic.
What's that like to you?
I find it interesting since about, we were at Noah's one year and for Nerdtacular, and I did have someone come up, and this wife said, "Does he really play the video games like he talks about?
the video games.
Do you let him?" And I went, "Let him?" I remember having that conversation. It just like kind of blew my mind. Like, what do you mean? Do I let him play video games?
Was she serious?
And I've had that conversation with multiple people. Do you let him play video games?
Right.
As much as he talks about it on his shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have my things I do, and he doesn't let me do them. I just do them, and he has his things he loves, and I don't let him. He just does them because he will come to bed sometimes at 9, and I'll be watching TV or reading my book or whatever, and he'll come in and go, "Hey, the guys want to play," and I'm like, "Okay, cool,
yeah,
no problem.
See you in a couple hours.
See you in a couple hours."
Right.
I find that the most interesting part about having such a huge community, and people do walk up to you and go, "Well, I know that this is really weird that we know this, but," and they go on and on about things Scott's talked about. Mm-hmm. It's like a huge family reunion when we all get together.
Yeah, it's never a negative thing.
And I feel bad that I don't know everyone's name.
Yeah.
And everyone knows mine.
I do that too. I have a hard time
and that's just not out of quality, but out of quantity. There are so many people that come up, "Hey, Kim, I know you don't know who I am, but I know who you are, and it's weird that we know these funny stories about your family." But I do love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I've always said community is everything in this business, and I absolutely believe it. And I don't really understand it. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it builds and gets cool and all that, but some of the best friends I have in this world came from this experiment. Some
that
of
you talked to before you met in person. Yeah.
And I mean from top to bottom, like all of the normal interactions, all the way down to the weird freaking naked pic we'd get once in a while from somebody who's a little too into what we're doing. And Kim and I share that moment because what do you think? I've been married for 26 years now. You think I'm going to go, "Oh, hold on a second. Here's my hot new, here's my pipeline to a whole new world of illicit texting."
Plenty of people that go that direction, that's fine. But for me, seeing all these people that know who you are and talk about you and hear about you and all the stories, and most of these stories, people are crazy and happen to Scott. I don't know why.
They just do. Sometimes I'll get a detail wrong, and the kids will correct me and go, "Dad, that wasn't that year. It was this thing," or "It wasn't him. It was her." Like I'll mess up some of that.
There's a little bit of correction there.
But like Kim was there for the poo bag. She was there. She saw me put a poo bag,
and I was dying, and I just was like, "Honey, we need to go."
When I put the poo bag on that lady's face, Kim was there and witnessed the entire freaking thing.
I was there. We were walking Daisy, but it's really fun because all the kids seem to have friends out of this too. That they, Nick and Carter learned to play
Magic the
Gathering with Ralph.
Yeah,
and it was
freaking Ralph.
Yeah, and it was great. It was like they knew who he was and considered him a friend. Well, there's a lot of people that came out of this that we consider just closer friends than our neighbors.
Yeah, also a lot of people. Which
is really cool.
People always ask, "What's the secret with raising your kids?" And I have a cheat. We have a cheat. The cheat is we have a built-in village that made us seem way cooler than we are. Like my kids never, I mean, they may deny this right now, but they never saw us as stick in the mud, fuddy-duddy parents. We never had "I hate you, you guys don't understand me." We never had any of that. And I think a huge part of that is their formative years were during the formative years of the Frog Pants community. And because of that, they thought we were kind of rock starry. And they would see us, get up in front of big groups of people or know that this many people listen or whatever it was. And that would, for good or for ill, that would make them go, "Ooh, our parents are cool." And I think it helped us.
And they're listening and they're seeing things that are actually going on.
Yeah, for sure. So because of that, I'm always very grateful to the community because not only did they give them that impression of their parents, but they also were genuinely really wonderful with my kids. Like we talk about Ralph, who passed away. His real name was Roger, but he's one of my favorite people in the history of the world. I still keep his social media accounts followed. I have old emails he sent that I'll never delete. Like, he was one of the sweetest, nicest, most kind-hearted people I've ever met. And I wouldn't have met him without any of this. There's no way I would have met that guy. And that guy sat down and taught my kids how to play Magic the Gathering for the first time.
He was so sweet. He was like, he didn't have to do that.
Nope. And you should have seen.
Our kids were young teenagers.
You should have seen Carter just tearing up when he passed away. She was very upset.
Totally.
And had it not been for that interaction, he made an impact on her. So the community thing, it may just seem like, oh, how weird. You know each other. Ooh,
and
weird.
So many people know you.
Right. That seems weird, but there's a much more personal aspect to it that's hard to describe.
And our kids have felt that too.
Oh, yeah.
The kids have been like, hey, Dad, you know this guy. Will you ask him about this? And they've, they went to high school and junior high, and all those times sucked like most people, like it does for most kids. But they felt the community. They felt like they had more friends than just who was around them.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
It was like a built-in village.
A built-in village.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a village that was very diverse. It was people from every corner of this world, not just their local community. It was people all over the world. Like, my kids look at Patrick and Terpster like weird European uncles.
They were like uncles.
Yeah.
They are like uncles.
They are like uncles. They look at Brian Ibbett as this extended piece of family. Like,
totally.
It's not just, oh, these are people my dad works with. I mean, there's some of that, of course, but and then just the fan base is enough to, when they sit around a tabletop game at a Nerdtacular with a game they don't know anything about, and they're just completely welcomed there. That was huge for me as their dad.
Yeah.
I would see that and go, oh man, that is so awesome. Or when in the heyday of Nick's Minecraft addiction, the community really rallied to make sure he was invited to the server that we had running sort of semi-officially, and that he was involved in all the stuff that was going on over there and always invited, and he could run all the mods he wanted. And they just made sure he felt welcome, and never in a like weird way or a creepy way or any of those things. It was just like, your kids are, I don't know. We just always felt like we were part of a larger family.
Simply put, I'd say it was just extremely positive. And I know that a lot of people don't get that, but this community in particular was super positive for them.
Yeah.
And for all of us.
Open Bayou, which is great because you're from the South. In the chat says, did your kids ever say, don't say this on the air? Oh, all the time.
Oh my gosh. Dad, you can't put this in the show. You can't talk about this on the show.
And I don't always
keep that promise.
Keep the promise, but never on I'm never trying to purposely
never trying to embarrass them.
No,
or anything.
I don't want to do that.
But some of the stories have been part of what people need to hear, and it's changed other people, and that's good.
The thing is, I often look at like Taylor's photography career or her music, or I look at Carter's art, or anything Nick's up to, and I wonder if they would have anywhere near
the positive
foundation
feedback they've had.
The positive foundation for that stuff, had it not been for this larger community, and especially in Carter's case, where her artwork is constantly being passed around and sort of scrutinized and looked at by people in the community. I don't know if she'd even be doing it if she didn't have that positive force in her life.
Not in the way that she's getting to do it now.
She's lapping me. She's making me look bad. And that's fine. I'm 100% proud of her, and I think it's awesome. But and she, this is a lot of just her work. But you guys have been able to you've been this really good mirror for her to reflect back who she is, what she is. She's also kind of a goofball. She doesn't really fit in any kind of she was never a girly girl. She was never much of a tomboy. She's like something else. She's a different kid, and she doesn't need the applause or she doesn't need peer pressure needs.
Yeah.
She never has. And so she's just a little bit of an oddball. She's goofy. She laughs. She's been goofball.
A lot of, I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Right. And you guys, the community has shown that they're so diverse and so wide ranging that she's just accepted.
Yeah.
No matter how goofy she is. You want to cut your hair and color it purple? Great. You want to, I don't know, be really into anime? Great. Like whatever it is you're into, you can be into in this community, and nobody's going to give you too much grief about it. And if they do, we usually, they get
they're all
scolded.
good people.
Or they'll apologize and people will make amends. Like that happens sometimes. I say stupid stuff all the time. Big shock. And I have to apologize or rethink what my stance was.
Yeah.
Or,
apologize to the kids for telling the story they asked you not to.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that sometimes.
So yeah, I'm it's the one thing I'm most proud of, but also feel like I don't know how it happened. Like I didn't have a plan. There was no master plan.
There wasn't, hey, we need to have this many followers before we succeed.
I didn't even know that would be that important. Like I didn't know anything about it. Nobody did. We've been blazing this as slowly as we can
since the beginning.
And I feel bad because if let's say you were a stand-up comedian and now you suddenly are like, I'm going to get into podcasting. Okay, you're going to have a huge show, tons of downloads because you came in with a big name. People know you. That's awesome. Hats off to them. There's many of those I listen to, so I totally get it. The difference between them and us is we've had to do this literally from scratch, from this side, and try to build something that was interesting to people from nothing and nobody.
Yeah, but that's because you started at the beginning of podcasting.
Yeah, we tried to stake our claim early, and
but you also ended up with the best listeners, that actually have things to say, that actually send in real questions. They're not just either ripping on you or just praising you for whatever you do. It's community. Yeah. That's the actual definition of community, not just listeners or fans.
Right. Tom Merritt said it, and I always repeat it, but I'll say it again. You get the chat room you deserve.
There you go.
So for whatever reason, we're grateful we deserve you guys.
So thank you. Thank you for asking about it.
All of that.
It's good to talk about.
And more.
Will you remember to eat the right way?
You will if you listen to Kim, because she knows how to cook and make things.
And Kim still hasn't put up all of her recipes.
No. What's your deal?
Still haven't been shown by Scott where to go and what to do.
Struggling with computers.
That's what I'm bad at.
Just kidding.
Is getting stuff put up there.
No. Well, I'll give you your access to Discord today and you'll get it in there.
There we go.
Wait, before we move on, can I do this quick question from
sure.
Dozilla in the chat? Says, Scott and Kim, about to have our first baby next week at 41 after many years of doctors, long story. Any advice? Love all that you do. Been listening since the beginning. So, any quick advice for brand new baby havers?
It's kind of fun so fun to be around a new baby. I love it. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it's the best. I think you're fine. Look, 41, so what? Who cares? We started
That's
young,
great.
Big deal. Yeah,
Dude.
Most people at 41 is like normal for having a kid, right?
Yeah, we were just really early.
We were early. We were like...
We just got married early and had kids early, and that's just the direction we went.
So Kim's 45, right?
46.
6. Ooh, geez, honey.
Dang, I know. Rounded that corner.
and some people who are like young 40 or mid 40s, like Patrick's 46. He's your age.
Yeah.
They have a 1 year old. Yeah. So you had a baby at 45, and he's always like, "Oh, I wish I'd have started younger like you guys." I'm like, "No, you don't. You're fine. It doesn't matter.
What you gotta do.
Plus, you just love the kids. So who cares?"
The only thing I would recommend. Taylor has been telling me about this parent directive feeding PDF. She calls it, and she's really. He's a week and a half old now.
Yeah.
But it's been good for a lot of other people, and I think that would be something I'd recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't around when I was having
kids, exist,
but it's more about timing and feeding on a schedule that by the time they're 8 weeks, they're sleeping 8 hours at night, and that was the hook for me.
Yeah.
Like, well, people need to know about this.
Right.
So I think you can find it online, but that's one of the things I'd recommend.
That's great. Yeah, check that out. There's some actual practical advice, but I gave you none. Here's what I'll say. When that baby's born and you see his or her little face, all bets will be off. You'll be like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest moment of my life. I can't believe how amazing every second of this is. Like, it may not happen until right when the baby comes out. Right out, right? Bring him out.
It's the coolest thing ever.
It's the most amazing thing ever. It changes your whole life, and all for the good. So you'll love it.
Good luck. It will be so fun if you just embrace it.
Yes.
Run with it. It's so much fun.
All right, tell me about these enchiladas that are cooking upstairs.
We are cooking enchiladas today.
Yeah. Now, that sounds boring to a lot of people, like, enchiladas, that's a dime a dozen.
That's just enchiladas.
Yeah.
They're nothing fancy. I took some pork carnitas that I had, and I mixed it with a little bit. There's no real recipe here, people. Once again, I'm just throwing stuff together.
Yeah.
A little bit of cheese, a little bit of green enchilada sauce, some pre-made ranch dip I put in there. Because usually I put sour cream in there, but I had already made up stuff, and I thought, okay, this is going to be really good and salty and yummy. And so I mixed it all up, put it in tortillas, and then put a little bit of that same stuff that I put on the inside on the top, some cheese, and some more enchilada sauce.
And then why are they cooking so early? I'm curious about that.
They're not cooking right now.
Oh, I thought they were.
I find that I cook better and more intricate things when I cook in the morning. because if I wait till 5 o'clock at night and I think, oh my gosh, what's for dinner? There's this kind of panic thing, and a lot of women know what I'm talking about, and men, if you make dinner. You know what I'm talking about. You get to 5 o'clock and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're making for dinner. Yeah. We're going to have bowls of cereal. Here we go.
That's what I do. Default.
So I cook better if I do it in the morning, even if for people that get up and they go to work, if you put something in the crock pot and you know when you get home you have food sitting there cooked and warm and ready for you, so much better.
It is pretty good
That's a recommendation I would recommend to anyone is cook in the morning.
It also sounds great for a day like this. Like we're having cold temperatures, a lot of snow on the ground.
Yes, lots of snow going on.
Nice, warm, cheesy.
But even in the summer, I mean, it's sometimes you think, oh, I don't want soup. It's hot and it's summer. But you eat hot food all year long.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't say ever that you don't want something hot in your crock pot even in the summer because, number one, you haven't heated up your kitchen. It's so awesome.
Do you want to give a mini review of... Sorry, this is changing subjects.
Okay, sorry.
Do you want to give a mini review of Blue Bloods since you've been watching?
Oh, I have been watching Blue Bloods. It's really fun.
You're like season 15 or something.
No, there's only 8, I think.
Oh, okay. 6 or 7. You're getting there, though.
I'm getting there. It's more of a I like it enough that I want to finish.
It's a, you know what? It's weird. I'm going to say this because I'm surprised I'm saying it.
Did someone ask about Blue Bloods?
Yeah, we've been talking about it during the week on other shows and stuff, and it's definitely one of those shows that's like purely network show, super sanitized, kind of tropey. You know, it's like CSI or anything else, a little procedural, whatever.
But it's probably not the same as being a cop in New York.
Probably not at all. I mean, there's all sorts of things about them being a family and having a job in every aspect of New York's law enforcement that seems a little funny. I think I like
the family aspect of it, though, because I feel like it's our family dinners, too, where we sit and we all talk and we all...
I think that's what I like. I think I've had a turnaround on it because in the beginning I was a little bit like, meh, and every once in a while they'll do something and I'll be like, guys, that's not how computers work. Like, that's not how.
He would have sworn right then.
Right, or he would have F-bombed the hell out of there or whatever.
That's true. There's not a lot of that. It's just fun. I get stuck on a show and I have to finish it.
Yeah. And
I like it.
And there is a comfort food quality to it.
Yeah.
And also I think that Tom Selleck's character is really charming.
He's so great.
And great, yeah.
I do. I almost every night will pop a bowl of popcorn, put my white cheddar seasoning on my popcorn, and just sit and watch while you're usually down here playing streaming games.
Yeah, I'm down here streaming some games.
It's just...
See, there winter. You go. Kim watching Tom Selleck in his ancient years and me playing Apex Legends with my friends.
There you go.
Very, very nice.
Is that all you needed? Was my review of the show?
That's all I needed. Yeah, I just wanted to know what you thought of it.
It's just fun.
Yeah, I like it because it's not even really your normal kind of thing.
No, it's not like super. You don't have to think a lot. It's not super deep or anything. It's just fun to watch.
It's pulpy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's good actors in it. Here's another takeaway from just me watching it passively while you've been watching. Is this is going to be a controversial statement, but I think Donnie Wahlberg might be a better actor than his brother.
Maybe.
And,
I think there's nothing.
And there's
no
reason to have a fight about which Wahlberg is better. But I think Donnie Wahlberg, there's something about his style I've always really liked anyway, and I think he's really good in that show.
For sure.
And it's probably, it's up on.
It's weird
Netflix,
watching these kids.
Watch it.
Because, I'm in season 7 of 8, and you literally watch the same actor kids go from little kids to teenagers and
it's weird,
adults.
Right?
It's weird.
Yeah. That quickly.
Well, that's because we're watching.
It's
just ripping through it.
It is a traditional network show where it's 24 episodes a year, though, which is a lot more than we're used to with like most, streaming stuff and cable stuff. So,
but I've only been watching it for a month.
Yeah, so. But so much of it though. You could cram 5 episodes a night and still not be near done.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that you're doing 5 a night, but you know what I mean.
Maybe
2, 3.
2, 3.
Yeah. Something like that.
Depends on the night. Depends on how early I get started, because if today it's Sunday and I can just chill out a lot longer.
Here's how I know when you're not tired. I'll come in the room late and she's still watching Blue Bloods. And here's how I know when you're tired. I'll come in the room and Friends is on.
Because I've switched it because I don't have to think about it. I can fall asleep.
Yeah, you don't have to think of Friends.
I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, you're not missing a damn thing. All right. You can watch it on Netflix, Wicked Kitten, if you're into such things. So go check it out.
Yeah, it's just fun. I like it.
Yeah. I've come around a bit.
Okay.
I don't think it's garbage.
No.
I don't think it's amazing. I think it's nice...
It's no Sopranos or anything, right? That's what you're telling me.
No, it's just it's a harmless good little thing. It's fine.
It's getting me through the winter months of like outside.
Yeah, because we can't really do anything outside at night.
No, I don't want to be out at night. It gets really icy, and I don't want to be out.
It's like a foot and a half of snow still, or something like that. In some places, you got ice everywhere. It's cold, like 30-something degrees today.
Yeah, so as soon as it gets dark, which is early, it's like, okay, I'm just going to go put on my pajamas, take off my makeup, and go sit in bed and watch TV.
Someone in the Dakotas is hearing me say this and laughing.
And laughing at us, I'm sure. It's like 26 degrems. Wow.
Wow, you guys really got it hard. But then again, California people, I think we're dying. So
that's true.
What are you going to do? It's going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody,
for being
here.
That's been a lot of fun.
It has been. Patreon.com/frogpants if you want to support us. That's patreon.com/frogpants.
And we really do appreciate it.
Oh, my gosh, do we ever.
Puts food on the table.
It does. We can't make these enchiladas without you, for real. Don't forget, frogpants.com/skim is the website, so you're going to want to head there. And
happy Valentine's this week, people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Valentine's. Not
happy
times.
Valentine's for those that celebrate it.
When is that, Tuesday?
Thursday.
I should probably do something.
You didn't like my I only have fries for you?
No, I love it. Everything you've done has been amazing. I'm just bad at this.
Hard at that.
As you know, I'm terrible at this. So
it's okay. That's not why I do it. I do it because I enjoy it.
I know why you do it. But anyway, those voicemails were awesome today, and we would really like more of them. So 801-471-0462. That's 801-471-0462.
We'll do our very best to answer your questions.
Yeah, keep them. All those were great too today because they were like under a minute and they're perfect questions and all that stuff. So if you're looking for good examples of good calls, today was a prime example of that. I think that'll do it for us, for me and for Kim.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Bye. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.